Mm, 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 mm. That is some good coffee. All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely early morning in which the Most High has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I don't know. I think it's not early. I think it's 11 a.m. Central Time. So it's not that early, but it's morning. So I come to you with answers and questions regarding polygamy. It is a topic that needs to have closure in the hearts of people in this hour in which we are in, running up on minutes. That means we're in the end days. And we need to bring some closure so we can continue to run on. And I desire to bring this forth at the end of the year so that when we go into what the world call a stage of a new calendar year, um, I want to be able to bring out more topics regarding the race in which Ahia is running in me and I in him. This would be a topic that you, Sister Deborah, pretty much won't cover again. So if you have any questions or you even feel that you have answers, this is the live this morning, opened up for you to pull out whatever you have regarding polygamy. This is not a topic that should ever be debated. Anybody that have a spirit, not a spirit, yeah, I would say a spirit, a heart that's within them. How would I say it? A spiritual heart within them that finds this topic to be something to debate. It's the lower of the lowest. So therefore, it's not something that even that is worth debating. It's because we got one breath of life in this flesh. And if we choose to have our pleasures met in the flesh versus the will of the Father in our spirit, then that's what we choose and we have chosen. But it's not something that it's high on the tower of the things that spirit and truth. Matter of fact, like I said, it's the low of the low. And I myself wouldn't go into this after this uh, answer and question regarding polygamy. This would end anything that I have to say on it this year or even next year. Now, I might expound on it. It depends if I'm led by the Spirit. But outside of that, this is not even a topic even worth measuring because it's not in the spiritual realm, you guys. It's not something that has to do with spirit and truth or the word of Yah. This is something that bring pleasure to the flesh and the flesh only. And you know that the flesh can't even worship a higher, so therefore it has no, how would I say it, number in the weight of a higher. He wouldn't even weigh it, which I wouldn't blame him because it's worthless, you know. It's just an act of males who have uh, uh, stepped into what you call sin and have formed things that would make them feel fulfilled. And in them is so fulfilled they don't care about the consequences or the action behind it. Now I want to tap you all in something that 99.1 trillion do not know. See, people really base things on their flesh and their soul. They don't understand there's something that outrides your flesh and your soul, and that is your spirit. That image that Ahaya gave you, like unto him. Okay, he gave you a spirit. That's the place where he come in you and abide in you and you in him, in the spirit. He don't abide in the flesh as for coming and abiding your flesh in watch you deal with 6 and 7 wives or 2 wives, 3 wives. You can't have a higher in you dealing with multi wives. People don't understand those are different spirits. So when they go into polygamy, they looking at something, and I'm speaking spirit and truth. And this is an area you're not going to get many pastors, leaders, apostles, bishops, seers, moorings, watchmen. You'll never see them cross over to this line, because this line is only orchestrated by the Ruach HaKodesh. It's taught by the Ruach HaKodesh, but it's orchestrated by the Father in heaven, which is the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. But he and he only can bring you to this here measurement. Okay. So what I'm going to say to you, I know, like I say, 99 point trillion have not heard. And that is, when people understand that you're dealing with flesh and blood. Okay. When you're dealing with flesh and blood, that's like separating the word. When Yeshua said, it is written that man should not live on bread alone, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Well, when you separate spirit and flesh and spirit, you have to separate them at a distance. So let's do that. In polygamy, you could separate flesh and spirit in this here category. Okay. Polygamy satisfy the flesh. It give pleasure to the flesh. It give assurance to the flesh. It give hope and promises to the flesh. It give happiness to the flesh. So therefore, it gives nothing to the spirit. Why? Because it feels that the fulfillment of what it desires or what it plans on portraying throughout time, throughout years, throughout days, throughout years, it feels that it can stand alone in the flesh without the spirit. So when you see people talk about, oh, it's not written, saying that we can and that we couldn't, and it was seen back in the days, sin was seen too. But it didn't mean when he allowed Adam and Eve to take up and entertain the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he could have stopped it, because he knew that it would go into thousands of years and everybody will suffer this thing of sin. But did he stop it? No. So if you're thinking that a higher fooled by the naive men, especially these old heads, okay? Because they behind the scene of a lot of things that these young men are teaching, preaching, and living. I had a young man, not a young man, he's an old head as well, tell me, when I moved back to Missouri, I asked him, what is this that's going on here? And he told me, we went out to dinner, and he told me, and I've been knowing him probably 45 years, you guys. And he told me, he said, Boobs, the old heads are behind it. I said, no, Lo. I called him Lo. He called me Boobs. I said, no, Lo. He said, yes. He said, old heads is behind a lot of this stuff you see these young people doing, these young men doing. I said, no, no, you can't say that. These young people ain't got a sense, ain't got no mind, ain't got nothing. He said, yeah, but Deborah, that's the thing. Old heads know that they ain't got sense. The old heads know they ain't got any upbringing and no morals, no standards. That's why they use them to do their dirty work. So the old heads are teaching the younger men to go in the area that they desire to go in, but didn't know how to step in it until they were able to get many of them to portray it. And after they got them to portray it based on them teaching and ministering to them the way to go, then they jump in it. And then you hear the old heads, oh, we want to get in it too. Okay. And this is how they get into it. But they don't get involved in polygamy until they have led the multitude of the mindsets of the men to go into this area. See, a lot of people don't want to be in darkness nor in iniquity or sin by themselves. They always got to take a crew with them. And another thing you'll notice about them, they always have a group with them, because those are the groups, those are the one that they have truly master and sealed in them that which pleasure and pleases them. Oh yes, Jim Jones also had a group of males that followed him. This is how they do it, and it's been done so many times in so many ways. It's clearly seen through the eyes of he and she that walks in the light. Now those that walk in the dark couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. They couldn't find it. They couldn't see it. They can't behold it. It's nowhere in their presence. But those who are in the light, they can see it very, very clear. So what happens is polygamy becomes a thing, a household name for those who have fantasized to be a king, a leader, a ruler, or somebody special. And once a society or it was space for them to take that role, they shot into it. It's their fantasy. It's their whole idea. Even if they get in there and they master King and they master it in a way that makes him feel that, okay, I can do this. But first of all, I have to get a group to go on the front line for me. I have to get them to step out first, and then I come behind them and portray the whole lifestyle as well. So this is what the old heads have done. And Lo was telling me, the man that old head that I sat down and had dinner with when I moved back from Atlanta to Missouri. He was explaining to me that the old heads are behind a lot of the things that the young men are portraying. I was like, but come on, Lo, you would think they would know better. You would think they'd be tired. When I left, they were doing it, and they still. He said, yes, it was in their hands then. He said, but they got the young men doing it because they know the young men ain't got a mind. They know they can get out there and they'll do anything that they tell them if they tell them in a way that they're going to gain something, or they're on the pedestal as if they leaders, they're rulers, they masters, they bad, you know. And I said, you mean to tell me it's the old heads behind it? He said, yeah, boo, it's the old heads. And why do he know? Because he's with them too. He's with them too. So I don't have no reason to not believe what he says, because he's with them. He said he's not doing what they're doing. I trust that. I trust that. That's how long I've known him. Okay. But he was explaining to me what they're doing. And he said, boo, it's a sight to see. It is off the chain the way they got the minds of these young men, the old heads. And he went on to tell me how old these old heads is. And I was like, older than I am. And what? You mean they still living? Because I was asking him, I said, you mean they still living? He said, yeah. They meet up. And he told me the places that they meet up. I said, you gotta be kidding. He said, no. So it's the old heads trying to train the young heads how to do evil and wicked, okay? Because they have lived their lives in that area. They don't want to go down by themselves when it's all over. They want to not only mess up the young minds, that's just who they are. When you got a nation of fathers, like he talked about the forefathers, who didn't care about us, you know, at all, to where what they did led us where we're at. So that shows you there was nothing in them that says, okay, but the children's going to get messed up. Oh no, not the kids. We're going to do right. No, they did even worse, because there's nothing in this nation of men that says, whoa, I'm a leader. I'm going to serve the Most High. I'm going to seek the kingdom of heavens first. I'm going to do the will of the Father that he has birthed in me. Nothing to represent a higher first. And this is the same nation, like unto the forefathers. They got them over here. And this is how they are even today. Worse than the forefathers. And they first thing they clam up on with our forefathers is David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You can't claim that, baby. Those are the seed that came down, branded for a highest namesake. In case y'all didn't know that. See, that's why I say they never had the sense to really digest the fact that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, David, and all the others back in that day are branded for a highest namesake. Look at John, all up in Revelation, branded for a highest namesake. These are men that were branded for a highest namesake, not man. But when they got down here, they would come down on a world of what? Sin. So they got caught up in it, but not enough to take the seed in which they represent. The seed, they are the seed of a higher, branded for his name's sake. All you do is go to Matthew verse 1. It shows you all the ones that's branded. And all of them that was branded, that's who the Messiah came down. Because they had to set the pace, set the way. You see? And in spite of what they did, they had a mission from the Most High. Where are you at today, honey? You're the forefathers of the stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient fathers. And if you're worse than them, just check out yourself. So right about now, polygamy would be the number one thing on a lot of these Hebrew Israelite movement mindset. Just constantly want to do iniquity and follow the things of the flesh. Okay. I'm going to cover some things. If you have any questions or you have any answers to questions, shoot them out, because this is the time for answers and questions. You can either ask Sister Deborah a question or you could even give Sister Deborah an answer. I'm open. Hello in the live chat. It's good to see you. I'm going to cover some things to try to give you some idea of, but first I want you to, I like how he's doing this because he's getting ready to tell me, go back, Deborah. Explain spirit and flesh. The reason why polygamy is not accepted or in the righteous will of the Father, nor in the perfect will of the Father, and only in the permissive will, is because it serves the flesh. It serves the thought of the mind of the flesh, the feelings of the mind of the flesh, the order of the mind of the flesh. It gives no glory to the spirit of Yah. Anything that does not give glory to the spirit of Yah is not of Yah. So when you call it polygamy and many wives, it doesn't represent anything positive, you guys. Positive represented in the righteous will of Yah. Okay, so this is not something that you all can look at and see anything positive outside of a man's mouth claiming that it's good for him and his. Okay, it's not good for a higher, because what I'm gonna tell y'all why. This is how deep it is. Hey, how can you go into this area, Father? Take me, help me, because it's kind of deep. I'm finna step into a realm of spirit and flesh, and I'm just gonna take you there. And this is for those who are spirit and truth seekers, or those who are seek after the word of truth and knows that we don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. These are things that are spirit and truth. These things come to follow the spirit of man. Okay. Now here we are flesh and we are spirit. Okay. We're kicking soul out the door because that has no authority. Okay. So we're dealing with flesh and spirit. Okay. When we're dealing with flesh and spirit, the spirit is always willing. Okay. But the flesh is the opposite of what the spirit is. Let me say that again. The flesh, Father, yeah, I see where you're going with this. The flesh is the opposite of what the spirit, your own spirit, is. So therefore, the things that you do in the flesh is not going to submit to the ways that you are in the spirit. Instead, it is a constant battle, because spirit wants to do what's right. Flesh does not. And it's no way you're going to get spirit to line up with polygamy because there's nothing to gain in polygamy and many wives that give glory to the spirit of Yah, nor to your spirit. It does not have anything within it to support the things which are spirit and truth. It only supports the flesh. So now you have flesh and you have spirit. Polygamy supports only the flesh of men and women, and basically men, and it's support nothing in the spirit realm. Do you get what I'm saying? So then if it's not for a higher in the spirit realm, what purpose is it? To please the flesh of man. Because it doesn't really please the flesh of woman. And let me explain to you why it doesn't. Polygamy is something that comes to give pleasure to men in the flesh. It boosts their ego and put them on the pedestal in which they really have nothing else. But when they become in the flesh, they become wanting to be recognized and wanting to be up higher than flesh itself. They have to portray roles to get them to feel where they at outside of being where they at. So they go and they take on the things which gives them pleasure, which allow them to feel that they are a ruler, a king, a leader. They are a man. See, they don't understand. A man is out of the heart. A man is born as a male, but he also can either be the potter of the clay, the clay of honor or dishonor. You see, still running up into the spiritual realm. Honoring is spirit. Dishonoring is flesh. See, everything balanced to those two, flesh and spirit. So if a polygamy only support the flesh and it can't support the spirit, then therefore polygamy is a thing of sin, really, and it have no dominion in the spiritual walk of a higher, because it pleases man. It gives nothing to a higher. Even if you're in a polygamous relationship, okay, and you say that, okay, you saved and you have the Holy Spirit. No, you can't, because you're dipping in too many things in the flesh to be considered one in the spirit. Do y'all get what I'm saying? You're bringing too much pleasure to the flesh, okay, where the spirit has no dominion or no desire to partaker in the things that pleases your flesh. So you worship the flesh and call it right and say that you're holy than thou. You start to look it, to act it, to portray the way the flesh of man say you should go and do, and how you should look, and how you should wrap your head, how you should eat, and how you should do this and do this and do this and do this. Why would a higher give you the image of his spirit and a breath of his own breath to you as an individual just to turn it over to a man to control? Come on, you guys. When you stand before glory is not going to say, okay, what did he control to you? I let you off since he controlled you. No, you're still going to be liable for playing in the polygamy lifestyle, which has adultery, sin, fornication. You see what I'm saying? A lot of lust. It's a game, you guys, that they have taken on, went to the old, brought out the sin of the others, and brought it into a form that, oh, it's okay because they did it. They were the seed and they paid the price and the penalty for that lifestyle. Go back, even to today. Look at Jacob's family. Look at us. You see? Look at us. Had to be cursed by who? The mighty power of Ahijah's right hand had to curse us. Aren't we Jacob's children? Wait a minute, hold up. See, we didn't understand just because we Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, or Jacob's bloodline, doesn't give us the right to claim that we are holy than thou, that we are the children of the Most High. Only children of the Most High is the one that are the seed. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all didn't even know that, and you're never going to know it because you went too far out in the deep with these men and made them men your God. So the man is in your heart, in your mind, and you don't see the creator who is the Most High or higher. You can't even see him. You're too far out in the deep. With a man. These men tell these other men to leave their families instead of seeking the kingdom of Yah to straighten up anything going on in your household with your wife and your children. Go to the Father. Bow down before him like David did. Face on the ground. Cry out to the Most High or higher to intervene in your families, among your children, your household. Don't tell me if you righteous, he gonna come. Hallelujah. But see, they didn't want to do that. They want to seek a man. That's the typical tribe of Judah, really the house of Israel. They want something they can see and believe. But let me give you an insight on the spirit of what the Father is trying to tell me to tell you. There's the flesh and there's the spirit. Polygamy supports only the flesh. I don't care if you in the flesh and you portraying to be holy than thou. You portraying that you saved and you sanctified. Anything that a higher does with his anointed, Satan can do with his. And that's what you all don't understand. So because you see a man do miracles and signs, you see a man speaking this way and portraying this way, don't mean that he represents a higher. You see? So what they do is they don't understand spirit and truth. And the spirit and truth is flesh is here, a spirit is here. When you get into a polygamy lifestyle, you're going into the flesh realm. Okay? You're living in the flesh realm. You're living in the flesh mindset, the flesh feelings, the flesh emotions, the flesh wisdom, the flesh knowledge, and the flesh understanding. And the flesh personal opinion. So now you see how in the flesh you can have a total lifestyle, and in the spirit has nothing to do with that lifestyle you have set up in your flesh, even the lifestyle of polygamy. So what happens? Ahaya wants me to tell you, Deborah, what they didn't understand. It don't end with the flesh. The flesh will cause you to see who you are in the spirit so you'll know your judgment when you come before the throne of Yah. But if you're born of the spirit, you wouldn't be tampering in the things of the flesh. You see, you'll be about your Father's business, and Father would cause you to someone that's out there that can meet you, and they meet you, they come to you, they cling to you just like he orchestrated things in the beginning when it was perfect. But what we did, we didn't want to trust in the Most High or higher. We want man to show us how to do it. Show us how to feel it. Show us how to do it. Show us how to orchestrate it so we can feel good in our temporary body. And then when this has not a day nor an hour in which you know will go down, guess what? When you open your eyes again, you'll be at the judgment seat. And he's going to judge you based on how you conduct yourself in your flesh. Did you give me? Did you serve me? Were you about my business? Or was you about portraying a role that man had manipulated you to portray on the earth so you can get the pleasures of the things of the flesh on the earth? So which one was it? See, he's not going to really ask that question. He's going to let them rumble jumble and then say, take him out. See, he ain't going to deal with you. See, and he's saying that you have to understand you cannot serve him with the lifestyle that you serve the flesh. And this is why. We all have spirits. Satan and demons have spirits too. So when you usher more than one wives, you're asking for more than one trouble. When you usher in more than one wives, you're asking for more than one trouble. When you asking for multi-wife with multi-children, he said, just wait. And you're going to feel the multi-destruction in the midst. See, long as your mouth is loud and wide, and you got people following you, and when they follow you and praise you, that's what puts you on the pedestal. But the truth be told, Ahia already done told me, that person is sour as sour can be in those lifestyles. They already feeling the impact that David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have portrayed in this lifestyle. Ahia said, if there's only destruction, wicked and evil that rest therein, because you're dealing with spirits, you guys. See, they didn't know that. They thought polygamy was just, oh, we leaders, we rulers, we kings, we over our household, we do this, we got some slave women gonna do this, they gonna submit to us. But Ahia said, let them go. Because they don't know. Each one of them women can carry a number of spirits. Let's go there. Let's go to Proverbs 16. I'm going to show you exactly what Ahia is saying. In Proverbs 16, I love Proverbs 16 because I learned about this when I was a young girl, and I thought it was a lot of power in what it was saying, even though it's kind of scary, but it was a lot of power in it. In Proverbs 16, listen to this. And this is why he said polygamy is not in his bosom. Okay? Listen to what he said. Proverbs 16 and verse 2. And he wants the women out there as well as the men to understand this. Proverbs 16 and verse 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. You see the eyes with an S on it? That means their flesh. You see what I'm saying? Ahia is saying to them that practice this lifestyle, everything is good for them. It's all clean. It's all righteous. It ain't nothing wrong with it. He didn't say I couldn't. Because, see, men manipulate and deceive men. And that's how they get into these lifestyles. Because they don't wait for a higher. They don't desire a higher. They don't seek a higher first. Because they're chasing the flesh order versus the spiritual order. And the spiritual order was what? Seek ye the kingdom first, and all shall be added unto thee. They don't want that. They want to seek after the flesh and not the spirit. But that also let them know who they serve and not a higher. So they can get on pulpits, they can talk, walk, act, and do whatever they want. It shows you their destiny. It identifies their destiny. It's the way their flesh is living. Okay. Now listen to Proverbs 16 and verse 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. That means his own self. In his eyes, the way he see things, it's good. It's righteous. It's clean. It's okay. It's the righteous thing. And Ahia wants you to know that's the mindset of the men today. And going in the we in the hour in the minutes. Their mindset is highly under this here. But guess what he says? Listen to here. But what does he say in 2? But, I like that but, because that means that, wait a minute, something else got to be heard about this. But Ahia wed the spirits. So see, what the men didn't understand, each wife that you have, spirits can detach to them when you don't even know it. Because you're fulfilling the flesh order. And there's really no spirit order when you're dealing with polygamy. So then if the first wife already dealing with personalities, different spirits coming, and we all know we're tempted by Satan and demons. If we said that we have not, when we lie. So if the first wife is going to experience these things, what you think the second one going to experience? What you think the third one is going to experience? What you think the fourth one is going to experience? So now you got a multi-house with all spirits. Even Ahia said he's going to weigh the spirits. Because in your mind, you clean. You all good. You're righteous. But I'm weighing the spirits. So that shows you that Polygamy is not something that you think you can control and have power over because your mouth is loud. It ain't about giving a person a roof over their head and food to eat and clothes on their back. No, it's not. I don't care if someone gave me a house, a roof over my head, and clothes on my back. How is that going to stop the demons and the spirits in that household? How is it going to stop it? Satan don't give a rat's behind about you giving somebody a roof over their head, clothes on their back, and food to eat. See, people give Satan such a leeway. And he loves it because they're so ignorant. They thinking life is about them boasting and sticking their chests out. We kings, we ruler. And they have forsaken the dark spirits that's in each one of those females, along with their children, along with you. See, they didn't know that. So you got a house full of demonic spirits and you thinking you living good because you put a roof over somebody's head and you fed them and you gave them some clothes and you got them in order. You know how much hatred that's in one spirit to be so in a perpetual hate for women? Do you know what those women are feeling? You really think because the voice of your loudness and your voice has gotten things in order, at least you're trying to make it look like it. That's what they do. They be on the devil platform trying to make everybody look like it all is well. But baby, let me tell you something. Ahia said, hey, Deborah, I weigh the spirits. So even though man thinking and got y'all thinking that polygamy is okay and it's all good, don't let them make a fool out of you. I'll give you another example out there, men and women. Let's go into your own household. If it's you, your wife, and say you got 2 children, isn't it a job dealing with your 2 children personalities? And their negativity in this day and time. Come on now, tell the truth and shame the devil. See what I'm saying? Say, for instance, if you live with your mother, and your husband and your mother, same way. It's so much coming into the household. You don't know which door is coming in and which window and how it's getting in. But Satan can get in many ways, and he comes through the minds. So those women have a set mind of their own. While you're trying to tame their control on the outer man, you don't know what Satan controlling on the inner. But Ahia said, just as David, Solomon, Abraham, and Jacob, same way. When you read for yourself, you'll see all the destruction that's in their household. So you think Ahia is the author of destruction? No, he ain't. So therefore, when people try to teach you that this is a good lifestyle and this is a righteous lifestyle, they're teaching you because they're deceiving your mind because they're so used to deceiving you to where you listen to everything they say. But the truth is already in the pudding. It had already told you. Go back to David and see how his lifestyle, see how his children grew up, see them killing each other, see them raping each other, see everything that's going on, and then come back and tell me, is that a lifestyle of Ahia, or was that a lifestyle of Satan? A lifestyle of Satan in David's household. Look at us. Who is that causing us to be disobedient to the father and who our main father Jacob served? Why is we the opposite of Jacob? Why are we considered stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient? Jacob wouldn't consider that. No one ever gave that thought. You see? See what I'm saying? We the children of the product of polygamy. How you like them now? You see what I'm saying? See, but people don't see that in there. So when people sit and tell you it's not in there, it's not saying that they can't, and so-and-so did it, so-and-so did, he never told them. Let me tell you something. It's over. That only stand with the weak. It does not stand with the strong. So let's go on. So Ahia began to give me Proverbs 16. And you see how, if say for instance, if a man has 3 wives and the wives have children, okay? Listen to this. In Proverbs 16 and verse 20, Proverbs 16, chapter 16, verse 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. I mean, it's in his flesh. See, I tell y'all, we're battling against the flesh. The flesh is what's disobedient to a higher. Now, see, here it's telling you, in their eyes, all is good. Everything is right. My family is together. I got it this. I'm building this, and I have this, and I have this. I have a academy. I have a school. I have camps. You see, in their eyes it's clean. Why? Because they're dealing with the flesh. They don't understand on the other side. Wait a minute. Hold up. On the spiritual realm, which in the flesh, see, there's two. Your flesh, and inside is a spirit. And listen to what's inside. In verse 2, but a higher wed the spirits. Because a higher knows that comes to attack you 24 in the spirit realm. See, them demons ain't coming to attack you of the flesh. They come to attack you of your spirit, because they know that's the only thing lives is the spirit. They know your flesh going straight to the grave, a place he don't even go. He going to the lake of fire. So he said, hey, I ain't coming to deal with your flesh, but if I can get your spirit to be destroyed, that's what I'm coming after. So that's what Ahia says. Ahia said, I wed the spirits. So these men that's called themselves husbands and have wives, they don't see that. Why? Because they're focused on the flesh. They're not thinking of their spirits connected to each one of these women and their children and their children and their children. Look where we at. You see what I'm saying? And out of us, why 1%? 144 is like 1%. 1%, you guys. And we're sitting here looking at 144 as it's a big number. No, it's not, baby. It's 1%. You see? So what happened? What happened to Abraham? Look at Jacob's son went into one of his wives, slept with her. Notice Dan didn't make it into the 144. Look at Benjamin in Judges, how they started all that homosexual stuff over again in Benjamin. These are Jacob's children. See, y'all, they teaching y'all backwards to keep you from seeing forward. Let me say that again. Praise the mighty Yah. They teaching you backwards to keep you from seeing forward. And that's in spirit and truth. Proceed out of the mouth of Yah, as Yeshua said. The word of truth. They don't want you to see those. They want you to their mouth in the way they conduct themselves and teach and preach. So they can manipulate your flesh. And Ahia said, but Deborah, I wed. That means he judged the spirits in him. Because anytime you stand around and let a man tell you to give up your family that you're struggling with, if you have issues with your wife and your children, it is not for a man to tell you to kick her to the curb and you rule. Men don't even understand their first talents or their seed or their children. See, they didn't know that because man didn't know it. So they didn't teach it to them. So just imagine you leaving the first, going into somebody else's, that this other man telling you to leave your family because you got to rule, you got to be king, you got to be leader. Baby, because when you finish, you better be able to leave that darkness that's in that household and all those spirits that comes with it. Just because a woman don't open her mouth don't mean spirits ain't abiding. Just because a woman listening to what you say and submitting to your every needs and your voice don't mean nothing. You don't know what they cranking up. You don't know what's going on because you can't control Satan and his demons when they come in. But you have entertained him, starting a lot to bring in different demonic spirits among you. And that's what you're going to get. Oh, yeah, they'll keep quiet for a minute. Then as time go on, you begin to see that there are spirits. A lot of times you already see it. You just don't know how to deal with it. Oh, I'm going to deal with it with the flesh. And the spirit is waiting. And a lot of people don't understand. None of the polygamy marriages has nothing to do with Ahia. And if they don't have anything to do with Ahia, then they're not in his righteous will. It's the pleasure of man. And he created it to be his righteousness and not the righteousness of the Father. Okay. Then the Father gave me Proverbs 16. We're still on Proverbs 16. Listen to this. And verse 4. For our higher has made all things for himself. I thought woman was made for man and not man for woman. Here it says, which it says 7 or 8 times, all things were created for a higher. Where did we get woman was created for man and man not for woman? That's a lie. That's a lie. That's out of the mouth of man. Those words are out of the mouth of man. And that's what Yeshua was saying. It is written that man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. How can it proceed, Deborah? You'll see it in here. It was said, and Yah said, and the word came to him. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah. So when you see other topics or things are being said, you have to rightly divide it. Rightly divide the word of truth from what is not truth. And when you hear someone saying woman was created for man and not man for woman, that's a lie from the pit of hell. That's out of the mouth of a man. You see what I'm saying? And that's what Yeshua was saying. It is written that we don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah, not out of the mouth of man. Okay. So here you see where it says that in Proverbs 16 and verse 4, for Ahiah has made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the days of evil. See, he knew it was going to be, the days are going to be so evil and wicked. He created something just for that. And just because he created it doesn't mean it's going to fall in the perfect will. It's still going to fall in the permissive will. Because if it falls in the perfect will, then it has eternal. And we know that wicked and evil don't have eternal life with Ahiah. So it has to fall under the permissive will. They were created to support those who walking in the permissive will. Who are? What does it say in verse 4? For Ahiah has made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the days of evil. So they are prepared and created for the what? Permissive will. That's the only door they can go in. They can't go into the perfect will, so they would have to go into the permissive will. Okay. Now I want to show you something else that he gave me on that. And that is in, let me get that one here. Come on. Let's go to Galatians. No, that was what? No. Oh, here it is. Romans chapter 9. In Romans chapter 9, now we're talking about polygamy, and I want you to see, if you have any questions, you guys, you can pull it up. Okay. We're going to Romans chapter 9. And let's see what Romans chapter 9 is saying. We just learned in Proverbs 16 and 4 that Ahiah has created the evil for the days of wicked and evil. So what did he create? What door did he create them to come through? The permissive will and not the perfect will. Okay. So we go into Romans chapter 9 and verse 20. In Romans chapter 9, verse 20. Next, no, we got to go further. Do I want to go to 20? Okay, let's go to 20. Nay, but, O man, who are thou that reply against Ahiah? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it? So how can we say to Ahiah that created us, thou made me this? Why have thou made me this? Who are we to tell him, ask him, why did he make us? Okay, now watch this here. Verse 21, has not the potter, now he talking about the Father, has not the potter over the clay. See, Ahiah is over the clay. Okay? He said he formed us. He predestined us. You see? He's the potter over the clay. Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor. But yet he's still the potter of the clay. He's over the whole lump. And in his lump, he created one to honor and one to dishonor. Who's to tell him what to do or what is his? Polygamy falls under dishonor because it gives not the honor to Ahiah. It's nothing in polygamy that gives Ahiah the honor. So it falls under dishonor. Okay? Because it pleases the flesh and not the spirit. Okay? Now, look at verse 22. What if Ahiah is willing to show his wrath to make his power, his power known? Now, this is where I think it's kind of sad when Sister Deborah tell you, if you missed Genesis chapter 1 and 2, you've missed the whole book. And this is where it's at, to make his power known. Because even in the year 2022, going into the year 2023, 99.1 trillion don't know Ahiah's power. They don't know Ahiah's power. I think somebody's out there shoveling my snow. That'd be nice. So it says, endure with much long suffering the vessel of wrath, fitted for destruction. His power, known, endured with much long suffering, the vessel of wrath, fitted for destruction. That's the one that dishonor. That's the one that the permissive will. That's polygamy. It is what? Fitted to destruction. Because it only pleases man. It does not give Ahiah the glory. It can't. It is a lifestyle that gives man all the pleasure in the flesh to make him think that, okay, now I am a man. Now I am a ruler. Now I am a king. Now I am a leader. And all he is boast, pride-mannered, self-centered, perpetual hate in his heart. These are the things that follow him. Okay? So I like that because in here it's showing that the potter of the clay who allowed the dishonor could be for Ahiah's wrath. And it is. It is. It's geared to the wrath of Yah to show his power. Endure with much long suffering of the vessel of wrath, fitted for destruction. That's what polygamy is. It's fitted for destruction. Now, why would you say that, Deborah? Go back to David. Read that thing and see how that thing. Read that thing and see how Ahiah was in the vision talking to Abraham. And he told him he was going to give him a son. And that's what's going to be his heir. He couldn't wait for what Ahiah said. He goes and he listens. He get Sarah said, here, you can have her. He don't answer, don't question. Said, wait a minute, hold up. Did not Ahiah say he's going to bless me through you? No, he goes straight in for the kill. See, a lot of y'all don't understand. He did that in the flesh. So it was something there in the flesh that desired to yet do that after Ahiah had already told him what he was going to do with Sarah and him. Sarah put Hagar up there. At least that's what the book is giving you, leading you to. Because Abraham jumped straight in it without any questions. So I don't know if it's all about Sarah putting her up. You see? So I want you to think about that. But is that the perfect will? No, that was the permissive will. Same thing when Sarah and him was going to the king. Abraham didn't care that the king was finna lay down with Sarah. Sarah didn't have no problem laying down with the king. But Ahiah did. Praise the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. That's perfect will. Abraham didn't have no problem. Go on, take him. Do what you're going to do. Just give us what we want. We come here for. Sarah didn't have no problem. Wait a minute. No, I'm married. I'm not going to do this. They didn't have, neither one of them had any problem with what? Fulfilling the lust of the king. Because of her beauty, he wanted to take her and lay down with her. It's never something that has to do with anything outside of a lust. Because of her beauty, you wanted to go into her. That's how the men were back then. And they thinking Ahiah ain't gonna check that. Wait. See, they don't think, people just really don't think Ahiah is gonna check all that. He is not setting you up on the earth to give pleasure, to get your lust on throughout many wives. Because to get a wife, you got to look and you got to lust for her. And he said, you already committed adultery. So see, it just, why would he break his perfect will for your permissive will? Come on now. The perfect will was in Genesis chapter 2, when it was perfect. One woman to one man. They become one. That's the way he created it. But because you come on the scene with sin, now sin hit in the 3rd chapter, and you're going to switch my father's word to please your pleasure. Ahiah didn't come down to stop you, but he didn't come down to stop Cain from killing Abel. He didn't come down to stop Adam and Eve from entertaining the serpent. Why? Oh, no. I'm going to permit it. Because his gender, his whole idea is that perfect will. So this is the minds of flesh. They're going to do what they're going to do. Even though I set them amongst the perfect of the perfect. When sin hit, they're going to do whatever they want to do. So that's where you see polygamy. Once that sin hit, anything can hit. Homosexual hit in Genesis, everything can hit. But did Ahiah stop it? Somebody talk to me. Did Ahiah put a stop to it? No, he ain't come to stop your lust. He ain't come to stop those things you do in your flesh. Your flesh can't worship him. Your flesh can't serve him. Your flesh can't do nothing for him. So why would he give you and allow you to have many wives so you can train and use as slaves? Did you all know our Negro men turned around and reversed polygamy on a lifestyle like unto our oppressor who had us in captivity, slave masters? That's what they treating the black women like. And the black women falling for it. You see how sick they are? They ain't looking at what was and what is and what shall come. They looking at, okay, let him lead us. Do you think that being married to a man that has many wives and has an ugly, nasty mouth, he giving you a roof over your head and food to eat and clothes? What did Father say? Seek ye the kingdom of heavens and all shall be added. And what's going to be added? He said the birds them and the fowls and all them ain't worried about nothing to eat. Don't we be worried about what you're going to eat, drink, and wear. Hallelujah. And if he said it, you got to believe it. Oh, man, come up and on. I'm going to give you a roof over your head and clothes to eat, clothes to put on and food to eat. And now you're going to work like a slave and lay down when I want to lay down and do what I tell you and how I tell you to do it. No. Ahiah did not give us the image of his spirit and give us a spirit. And one breath he breathed in us to hand that over and bow it down to a man. See, when that permissive will came in Genesis 3, anything went. That's why I say you can't run me to Torah and think I'm going to bow down to Torah. No, you ain't. So much sin was loaded back in them days. It is off the chain. And even then they didn't obey Ahiah. We were cursed at that level in Deuteronomy. So how I'm going to run back and bow down to the lifestyle of when we disrespect our Father? He destroyed the world back in then because of wicked evil and every imagination. But I'm going to run back and hold on to Torah as this is something to bring up to the 2022. That's how sick the people who think they're scholars and think they're so smart. They can't even be smarter than Satan and his demons or his dumbest demon, because they ain't gripped what actually took place in Genesis 1 and 2, and how what took place in 3 allowed what you see today to be right, wrong, wrong, right. It started right then and there. Okay, so here he's saying in Romans, he just given us the whole idea that he is the potter of the clay. He formed one to honor and one to dishonor. Dishonor follows under polygamy, because polygamy does not honor Ahaya. So it would have to fall under permissive dishonor and permissive will. Okay, now watch this here. Let's go to 2 Timothy verse 2. 2 Timothy. Oh yeah, they're fine and wants to debate. Oh no, baby, ain't nobody gonna debate the book. He didn't say every word that proceeded out of the book. He said every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. He that has an ear, let him hear that mouth. But he has to have an ear. And what is that ear? The Ruach HaKodesh. They can't hear. They can only hear the mouth of the idol God, which is a man. Because anytime a man can tell you to get rid of your family, you gone. You weak. You the weakest man on the face of the earth. I mean, the weak of the weak. Anytime a man can tell you to get rid of your family, and then when you get out here, your whole family then gone and live without you. And then you begin to wonder where they at, what they doing. It's too late. Go ask that man that caused you to get rid of what was yours, instead of you going before the altar of Ahaya and asking him. It's too good to go to the altar of the Most High Ahaya. I need to go to a man. See how sick that is? Okay, 2 Timothy verse 19, and it reads, 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Ahaya stands assured, having this seal. Ahaya know with them that are his. Ahaya knows who are his. And let every man that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Now, in that verse, where is the power? Anybody in the live chat, tell me where the power is at. Where is the message? Where is the power in that message? In that verse alone, listen to it. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse, 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Ahaya standeth sure. The foundation. We know where the foundation was in the beginning, in Genesis 1. The foundation standeth sure, having this sealed. Ahaya knows them that are his. Let no man that name it. Let every man, let me say that again. Let every man name it. Name it the name. Come on with it. Of Christ. Depart from iniquity. Now, me reading that is when I read that last night. I said, now look at you, teaching me why I speak. Hallelujah. Teaching me why I speak. Now, going back to you all, anybody in the live chat, what do you see in that verse? I'm not Sister Deborah ain't testing you. She just wants you to see something. What do you see? I know I ain't going to get an answer, so I'm going to proceed, okay? And is it sad? Yes, it is sad. It's sad. It just shows you his power. Now, where is his power at? Where is his power? Where do you see his power? Where do you see his power? Nope. See, you guys, last night when I spoke that, I realized again that this creator is it's so awesome. Because as I spoke that verse yesterday, I wanted to expound on it. I pulled away, but now I'm getting chills all on my legs because I know that is a spoken message, not just for you, but for me. His powers. Yes, the foundation was sealed. Yes, that's good. The foundation was sealed, and in the beginning, the foundation, right? So something he's speaking of in the beginning. Let me go there. And let me sorry. Okay. Sure. In the word seal. Okay, watch this here. In the beginning, in Genesis 1 and verse 1, in the beginning, Ahia created the heavens and the earth. Now let's jump to Genesis 1 and verse 26. And Ahia said, let us, hallelujah, make man. Hallelujah. In the beginning, he said, let us make man. Now, who is us? It's not Yeshua. It's Christ. And Christ is Ahia's right-hand power. So when you look at 2 Timothy, it is revealed to those that can see. That makes you go and you check and make sure. Like I said in the year 2003, you better make sure you say who you are. Because you know what? To me, now, I already know who the power was. It was Christ. But see, I didn't know it existed plainly in 2 Timothy verse 19. And it says, let everyone that nameth the name of Christ, which is Hamashiach in Hebrew. Why? Because if you can name that power, hallelujah, and you can name who a Hamashiach is, depart from iniquity. Only he that can name. Only he that can what? It says it right in there. Let everyone that name it, the name of Christ. And what it means that he that knows the power. And in Genesis, the first book, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 100 million times 100 trillion don't know that us was the power of Yah, his right hand. His right hand is Hamashiach, which the world called Christ, all power. You see, and he said anybody that can name that, hallelujah, meaning if it's in you, you're going to depart from iniquity. See how you can't role play this thing? See, you can't role play spirit and truth. You can't role play righteous. You can't role play belief. You can't role play faith. You can't role play fear. It's a brand that he has in you. So when it come up on you, there it is. I like that. I like that. He said, whoever can name it, whoever know who Christ is, they already know they can come from iniquity. They can get away from iniquity. Sin. Because you have to know who that power is. Praise the mighty Yah. That's what happened to Yeshua. That's what happened to Peter. Peter called out that power. Yeshua said, who do they say that I am? Not him, but I am is. He said, the Son of Yah. And the Son of Yah is Christ, which is the in Hebrew, Hamashiach, which is the power of Yah that was present in the beginning when he said, let us. Hallelujah. So even with that, it's telling me, Deborah, if people are living in a polygamy lifestyle, they don't even know the name of Christ. They don't even have what it takes for forth spirit and truth. They don't know the word of truth. They can't rightly divide the word of truth because they don't know it. They don't have it. And here he's telling them in Timothy, whoever can name it, the name of Christ. And what name it means is know the name. Know who that name is. And if you know who that name is, then what? You can depart from iniquity. Hallelujah. And it taught me that. See, Deborah, I got it all up in there. And they still can't see. It's powerful for me. It is not only is it powerful, it's beautiful. So as it continues on verse 20, we in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 20. But in a great house, listen, you guys, listen to this. But in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and silver. You see, in a great house. Let's say, for instance, in a church, there's not only gold and silver, watch this here, but also wood and earth. And that's not good. And some to honor and some to dishonor. You know, he's talking about like if there's a great church, let's say a multitude, a church that has, let's say 1,000 members. He's telling you all what's all up in there. Now listen to what I'm saying. How you sitting here telling you what's gonna be found all up in there? But the church leader gonna be thinking, oh, everybody here saved. Everybody here holier than I. Everybody here is righteous. But how you telling you all kind of crap is up in that great house. That's how a home is, where you have a wife and wives and a husband. All kind of messes up in there. David will tell you the story. Solomon will tell you the story. Abraham will tell you his situation. Jacob, oh, he don't need to tell you. He can let you see everything you see today going on with his seeds. Look at Dan. Didn't even make it to the 144. Benjamin started homosexual, like a lot, and that was going on in lots. He started it in Benjamin in the book of Judge. So all this mess y'all talking about, kick rocks, running around here talking, we the true Jews. So you also the true fool that been going around here in unrighteousness, in iniquity, sin, loaded from head to toe to head. Now, let me go on here. He said, listen to this, you guys. This is pretty much what I'm saying with polygamy. Listen to this. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 20. But in a great house, notice he said great. That's a house that's big, like a church. Watch this here. There are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some honor and some dishonor. Now, which one of these do you think would weigh over the other? There will be more what? Wood and earth. There will be more dishonor. Why? Because the gate to what leads to life, which is to the righteous end, is narrow. So it would be narrow in a great house, in your house, in anywhere. A mega house, the majority is going to be connected to dishonor and wicked and evil, then honor and righteousness. Okay? Because the gate is going to be narrow, not just to life, but to the reality of the breath of life, which we are on the earth with. Okay? Now listen to verse 21. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be the vessel of honor. If he purge himself from these, you see that? From these, sanctify, means set your tail aside and meet for the master's use and prepare until every good work. Now, you can go into the houses of men that's practicing polygamy today, and you will not see this nowhere to be seen, because they're practicing polygamy in a form of the flesh. They are not practicing polygamy in the form of a spirit, because it cannot be practiced under spirit and truth. You get it? Because it is consistent with control, manipulation, sex, lust, adultery, all those things. And just because they went into the old and pulled out everybody who was doing it, they better go back to the old and find out each and every last one of those four were also sealed as the seed that come from heaven. And that's where they would return. It ain't saying that for you. They are never were called. Now one of them was called stiff-necked, rebellion, and disobedient. Whoremongers. No, they weren't, but you were. And you are. Because that's the line of what you walk in, what you talk in, what you act in. Okay, but listen to here in what he says in 21. If a man therefore purge himself, see, you purging yourself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, for the use of a hire. What man gonna give up all this lifestyle of polygamy to serve a higher in the spirit? Because you can't serve a higher in the spirit and in that lifestyle. That's why in the New Testament, none of that is spoke of. Well, because a higher son Yeshua to show our men how to walk in righteousness, and they turned away and said, "No, we don't like that. We don't like how he doing that. We don't like his ways. We don't like. We'll take his name, but we ain't gonna walk in his ways." You see what I'm saying? We ain't gonna obey his ways. We ain't gonna do it like he did it. No, we don't want to walk like him. I know he's our example. He's the one we're supposed to mimic. Now we're gonna go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and mimic their polygamy, not their way of living upright before a higher. So they won't be called stiff-necked, rebellion, and disobedient. You won't hear Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob even cursing women out in such a profane way. You won't even hear them saying anything of that nature. So you know that you're not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's seed, because their seed is going to gain eternal life, not yours. See, that's what they don't understand. They don't understand the promise in two ways: the promise for eternal and a promise for the land. You might be given the land, but that's about all you're going to get. And you might not even be given the land, because in Isaiah 3:24 and 25, he says he's going to destroy our men in the war along with our mighty men. And that's because what the war is that before us, we are preparing it ourselves. We have been disobedient, stiff-necked, and rebellion against Ahia himself. So let's last one on that is, what time is it? Job. In the book of Job, verse 9, chapter 9. Don't let nobody ever tell you it ain't in there. Oh, it's all up in there. First of all, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you all something. Don't let these darn Negroes that's full of Satan's tools tell you all that it's not in there. It is. If Genesis 1 and 2 was perfect, the perfect will of God, how did we step into Genesis 3 and erase the perfect will of God? The perfect will of God, when everything was perfect, it said, Genesis 2, Adam said, "This is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman." Genesis chapter 1 and verse 23. For she was taken out of man. Okay. Now listen to 24. This is where you see the perfect will. "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to a woman," to his wife, "and they shall become one flesh." One flesh. She owns his flesh, he owns hers. So how in the racks behind, he owns hers and many other women, and she don't get to own his because he's giving his flesh to other women? It doesn't make sense. That's the perfect will right there. Now you're looking at the perfect will. Not a man alive want to go into that perfect will right there. They want to step in. Now we got a lot of men today coming forth and speaking against that, running around and talking about polygamy. They're saying no, no. Okay, this one man said, who would want more mother-in-laws? Who would want more than one mother-in-law? I thought that was cute. But listen to this. If he's sitting here giving us the perfect will, and you drop to chapter 3, and Adam and Eve start entertaining Satan and taking on his trade. That means sin entered in after the perfect will was set. So how is it we come up out of the perfect will and live the will of the sin? It doesn't make no sense. But that's what they did. They took what he had perfect, like Yeshua said, from the beginning. That wasn't so. He's talking about the beginning of what I'm even saying. That's not how he lined it up. But man seems to say, but Moses said we can. Moses wrote all the Old Testament. See? And he said, but Moses told you that because you're wicked and evil. Your heart is hardened. That's wicked and evil. So what does that say about Moses? Why would Moses tell you that is what is right? Because he was letting you get your pleasure on. Letting you do it your way. And if Moses are willing to tell the men that they can do it the way that is not pleasing to Yah, what do you think these men today is telling these men? Do you get the point? If Moses can men to do the things that is not the perfect will of Yah, and he can direct that to these men, what makes you think today these men is not trying to direct these other men into doing the things that's not pleasing to Yah or not perfect in the perfect will of Yah, and then calling themselves leaders and pastors and bishops and apostles and prophets and seers and watchmen and all that's here? Come on now, y'all, wake up. I know you're not going to, but I still like to say that. Okay, so in Job, we go back to Job. Let's go. We never did go into Job chapter 9. Let's go into Job. Let's see what Job is saying in chapter 9. In Job chapter 9 and verse 20 and 21. In Job chapter 9, verse 20 and 21. Let's see what this is saying here. Now this can't, wait a minute. Job chapter 9, verse 20 to 21. If I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. If I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. And that's what's going on with these men. They're justifying and clarifying that the things that they are saying and doing and getting these men to believe out of their own mouth, and the men are taking it and using it as righteous. Okay. But here it says, if verse 20, Job chapter 9 and verse 20, if I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet will I not know my soul, which is my spirit. I would despise my life. 21. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my spirit. I would despise my life. Now, that was supposed to be in Job, but that is not my verse. Let me get that. Let me get the right. And you know what? Sometimes that I wonder. Okay, you know what? It's Job 21. I'm sorry. It's Job 21. I'm like reading. That don't fit my Job verse 21. In Job chapter 21 and 30. That's how did I get Job 9, chapter 9, verse 20 and 21? Job chapter 21 and verse 30. Let's go there. Job chapter 21 and verse 30. That the wicked is reserved to the days of destruction. Okay. The wicked, verse 30, Job chapter 21 and verse 30. That the wicked is reserved to the days of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Verse 31. Who shall declare his ways to his face? And who shall repay him what he has done? So understand this. A lot of people thinking, when I've gotten away with it for this long, or I've been doing it for this long, oh baby, he had preserved even his judgment and his wrath. So just because he allowed you to do it, and you've been doing it for quite a long time, doesn't mean you're getting away with it. See, that's another thing I think is kind of sad. A lot of people estimate when people are telling them things that's going to come upon them, they think that, okay, it haven't happened, so there's a false prophet or this. But baby, let me tell you something. Ahia has a time, an hour and a minute left. Don't. You better watch your mouth. He'll roll up on you when you less think, because that's how he rolls. It says it right here in verse 30, Job 21 and 30, that the wicked is reserved to the days of destruction. So he's reserving your destruction. When you thinking, well, where is it? It ain't came. Where is it? It ain't coming. Yeah, you said this and you said that. That's how they think. That's those who runs their ugly mouth and they got big mouth. You'll notice them because they got real loud, big mouth. And you guys don't ever think that it's okay to bring liquor to your body where the Ruach HaKodesh reside. And like he said, those that are of him, they don't do that. Because the ignorance of how men teaches men, as long as you don't get drunk, what is that? As long as you don't get drunk. That doesn't even make any sense. That shows you how man's word versus what proceed out of the mouth of Yah, the word of truth. You see what I'm saying? Spirit and truth. You can see the difference. Because man would tell you, oh, it said that as long as you ain't drunk. Wait a minute, hold up. If you are a vessel where Ahia abide, how dare you feel that you can bring any and everything to that temple? Many wives, drinking like a fountain, profaning with your ugly mouth, the same mouth you call Ahia's name, which is not the name, but yet no, you still think you got it. Ahia ain't for that. He's not with that. He don't support that. And people go out marveling over stuff like that. And people that follow that type of characteristics. Anytime you're on this platform and you see men and women using profanity in a way that the world uses it, and they can be on the pulpit of their sanctuary, it ain't nothing of Ahia, because it's not of Ahia. When a person talks like that and bring and be doing like the slave master used to do, sell women and men on the block. Well, these men would do this in what they call supposed to be a holy sanctuary, talking about virgins, speaking profanity, showing the world that that bring in all type of drink and strong drinks and substance into their bodies where the temple rests. Those are not people of Ahia. They just don't know it. Oh, my dog is crying. Oh, he's crying. Let me check on him for 1 minute. He normally don't do that. 1 minute. he just see me, he just hear me speaking, and he thinking, oh, if he cry, I'm gonna come down. And I did. It's nothing wrong with him. But I wanted to say to you all, don't be taken, which I know you're not going to be. Always also notice when he says, seek ye the kingdom, all shall be added to you. And he also explained to us that we're not supposed to be worried about where we're going to eat or our clothes. That's when you have really allowed him to be who he is in your life. If you're worried about a man giving you a roof over your head, food to eat, and clothes on your back, and you feel that you have to go into a relationship with that individual as a side chick to get these things, then let me tell you something. You chose Satan over a higher. That's what you chose. You chose to get the pleasures of your flesh than the things of the spirit. Because Ahia has already promised us, don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, or where you're going to stay. If you seek ye the kingdom, which was him, he will see to it that all shall be added. Men that left their ex-wives and their children, all because a man drilled into you so deep, into your spirit. That's what he drilled. Men dig deep into these men's spirit, and they pull out the weak of who they are, and they wear it out. I saw a young man. He can't be no more than 25, and he knows how to work with dogs. And he trained dogs. He knows how to work with them. The worst of the worst, the dogs that violent, and he knows how to calm them down and get them right. You know why? It's because people don't know. It ain't that he's special, or it ain't that he got all the techniques. Once Ahia give you a gift, even the dog would have to obey you. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand there are things within us that are given to us by Ahia, but we would never know what it is if we feel we have to follow the will and the ways of man. When a man, I'm going to tell you, the weakest men on the face of the earth is those who turn their backs on their families in the name of another man's wisdom, another man's knowledge, and another man's understanding, another man's personal opinion, another man's feelings and emotions is driven to deceive these men that's already weak of the weak. So I believe the weakest man on the face of the earth is a man that has to go up under another man authority. You see, without going to seeking ye the kingdom of heaven first. They seek him. And once they seek him, Ahia don't want no place with him. Because he's saying, if you didn't seek me first, and you thinking you're going to seek me third, I'm not going for it. I'm not going for second. Since you think you think this man or these men has the answer to your lifestyle from this day on, go for it. Go for it. That's why he said, Deborah's over. Because they ain't going to do right. I already seen it. Don't forget. I showed it to you before the foundation of the world. So you see, it's finished. So while women are out here okay in polygamy, it's because those are the women that he spoke of, silly women, laden with sin. Why? Because those are the women he said that I would measure their spirits. Same thing with the men. Because even though they think they clean and they look clean in their own eyes, Ahia knows that behind their own eyes, in which they believe they are clean and righteous, he said there are spirits, Deborah, that can be weighed. So while they thinking they're going to worship me, they're going to serve me, I'm going to measure them on how many spirits they allow to get dominion over them, that they may not serve and worship me. That's beautiful. You see? And he put it, that's in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 2. He ain't gonna let you just come on in. You had your pleasure on earth. Come on, get your pleasure in the heaven. No, that is not of Yah. Y'all, it's not going to let you get dominion on this earth in the way that you see fit. Romans chapter 1 nailed it to the wall. And now already, I heard you guys, already heard them already doing away with the Bible itself. I knew it. I knew come January, they're going to start really getting away because it's telling truth. Now, Ahia is speaking. We're starting to hear him. And they don't want that. So when we start to hear him, then we know what they've been teaching has not been truth, has not been spirit and truth, has not been the word of truth, nor the word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Why? Because Ahia is going to be in it and going to step out of it and speak to us in the spirit and the truth. Because man has done away with this book and manipulating people to believe the things that's right and wrong. They switched and they got people believing it. Because like I said, any man that has a family and left his ex, Ahia is not going to, how would I say, he is not and will not endorse you in your newfound religion and your newfound relationship, your newfound marriage, your newfound children. No, he's not. I don't care if you find newfound virgins. In Ahia, it's sin. It's things that you're doing behind the closet and having to dress in front of the closet with him. See, Ahia ain't saying that, okay, if you came to me and you said your ex-wife and the kid, she did this and she did this, fall on your face like David did. Come to me in spirit and truth. Fall on your face. Talk to me. No, they go running their little butts over there to a man to get the closure in which they look for in their flesh. So that's why Ahia is not going to approve of it, even though man has approved of it. And that's why they so eager to make polygamy okay, so that they can get the men the pleasure in which they desire in their flesh, knowing that it is not the perfect will of the Father. It is not the will of the Father. But they're willing to line it up as if it is. And it has no part. It didn't have any part in David. It didn't have any part in Solomon. It shows you the sin and the chaos that was going on with the seeds of David, the seeds of Jacob, as you can see now. These are seeds of Jacob's. Daniel wasn't even allowed in the 144. See what I'm saying, you guys? See how they put the monarchs before front line and hid. That's what the fake, not the fake, the Hebrew Israelite movement and cult did. They put Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob before them, and Moses. They put them before them to walk before them, and they gave every one of you all the example of them to represent us. They didn't tag you, well, why is it? And no one asked them, well, okay, how are we representing them? And they not called stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient forefathers. So who are these forefathers that he called us stiff-necked rebellion and disobedient? The children of. See, nobody ever questioned that. No one ever questioned it. And that's why the Father said, don't use your time. You got that breath of life. You got that one time, run this race in the lane. Don't make people think that this is about a debate. You can't debate unrighteous. You can't debate righteousness. Because it is what he said. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to get caught up in saying, because if you look up one wife, your wife body belongs to you. And he said, your body belongs to her. And then he say, woman, what did he say? Love your own husband, your own wife. What is the word own? That's your property. So how could your property be owned to 6 or 7 other women? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, they ain't gonna cover stuff like that. They ain't gonna cover that because they're gonna make you think that everything they doing is okay and legit. And people gonna get caught up in this here. And they're going to believe these things that proceed out of the mouth of these ugly, loudmouth men. You'll know an ugly, loudmouth man is when his mouth loud. Every time he open his mouth, it got to be wide. And anytime a man has a perpetual hate, you know it. Because every time he can be, any man that can be on, say, building a house. And then next thing you know, as he giving you the topic of building the house, he's talking negative about a woman. If he's talking about which car to go out there, he's on a video and he's talking about you should buy this type of car because this does this, this does this, this does this, or this type of whatever, this does this. Next thing you know, he's on women. He's degrading women. Everything out of his regular mouth represents dishonoring and disrespecting women. But the Father said to me, Deborah, if they disrespect me and dishonor me and profane my name, then you can expect them to do anything. And that is the truth. Because anytime you can step in a place and you give the world a thing, and the heathens and Gentiles are looking at this. They're looking at this. They're looking at this stuff. And you guys all over the world, you see snow and cold and things of that nature taking place. I want you to also understand that's a good thing. You ain't seen nothing yet. That's the least of your worries. So know that. Okay. Let me see what else. Oh, okay. He wants me to end this in Galatians chapter 5. And this is our last chapter. Galatians chapter 5. Don't get thrown backwards over this weather. This is the weather. Okay, this is not the control of man. Anything that comes to this earth has to be loosed from the heaven. Okay, I want you to always understand that. Any virus, any disease, anything, a higher has to loose them to be able to do the things that they're going to do. That's when you know him like that. That's when he know you like that. Where you can speak spirit and truth of the matter, that he still rules it all when it's all said and done. See, I ain't giving Satan no credit. I ain't giving him no glory. Even he bowed down to the Father that I serve. You see what I'm saying? Even Satan knows the Father that I serve and how he rumbles. So if Satan knows how my Father rumbles, you need to know it too. Okay. Now in Galatians chapter 5, we're going to go to verse 16. But I want you to understand that they got a lot of people coming over in this country, which they have in the last 3 years. And they did that during the time they brought that pandemic out. They started letting all these people come in through the borders, because this is a country that's going to be destroyed. This is a country. This is a ground that they're going to destroy people. So they're allowing as many as they can to come here, because they know when everything starts kicking in, it's going to show you the war within a war in this country. You're going to see what you see today 10 times greater in the next year or so. Within this year, 2013, 2014, no, 2023 and 2024, it's going to be off the chain. 2023 is going to be off the chain. The plan is to bring all these people into this country is because when they went to the table, they decided that this will be the country they bring down. Okay. And they're doing a good job. And the people in here are so blind and so got so much hate and so evil and wicked. No one cares. They seeing all these people coming in by great number is because they're going to destroy those people in this country. Those people are going to be going up against you and I and everybody else right in this country. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. They're piling them all up into this place. So when they get ready, because in this place, they also planning on getting rid of half of the population. And they're going to be allowed to do it because heaven is releasing these things. Okay. This is what he said. He created the evil for the days of evil, for the days of destruction. It's wrath. Okay. And it's going to be like he said. And for those who have not embraced him for who he is, what he is, and what he done and how he done it, that's on you. You still playing this tough role as if you high and mighty and you think you famous because you on a devil platform. That shows you how much of the devil you have in you. When you on the devil platform trying to make somebody think you all famous and important and you all this and that. They playing you for all this work because Satan is in the midst. You bet. See, Satan don't get in the midst of the narrow. Ha, 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 ha. He only stand at the gate of the broad. So when people thinking, oh, I got so many subscribers, I got so many likes, baby, you in the broad gate. You should have. That's the only gate Satan stand in front of. He don't come nowhere near the narrow gate because he can't even find it. Or how you say, very few shall find their end. You won't find it. It's only given to those who are higher, has given it unto to find. That's why he knows it's narrow. And very few shall find their end. So that shows you also how many don't understand, because someone is okay in what you said, praising what you said, expounding on what you said, because they're going in the same broad gate you going in. That's why. It ain't that you all that and some, and you righteous, you upright, you just, you honor, you in the honor lane, or you in the perfect will of y'all. No, baby, you in the opposite end. So how you like them now? All you have to do is study, and he'll show you that you ain't nobody but to Satan. You just, he's at the gate, and you just bring him into it, to the broad gate. Okay. Now in Galatians chapter 5, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. That is a lot of people they letting in to the water. Y'all ain't paying no attention to it. This country ain't paying no attention to it. No one's paying any attention to this Russia and Ukraine. That's a setup, you guys. That's a setup from the flow up. They the same people. That's to make you all focus on something that's not really going on. There's even the United States know it's a setup to you, on you, against you. They letting you know we can't take care of this country because we got to take this money over there. How is it that money is so connected to the war that's really not fought, but it's shown to us through the media, and we thinking that something is going on, or even if it is, it don't concern us. So why is our country and our leaders are allowed to take money and take care of them and then leave this here open? Where are all these people going to stay? Where are all these people going to get funded? Where's all the money coming that's going to take care of these people? They're not worried about that. They worrying about the war they're going to have to get started. That's what they're trying to start. They're trying to make sure the war is kindled here greatly. And they have decided to go to on the four corners, which we call a circle, on the four corners round about. They have gotten together and sat at the table when we're going to bring down the United States. What do you think about that, United States? Oh, when we already at it already. We already passed halfway there. We're going to pull out another V on them. And we're going to try to get rid of the population. And we still bring in some of the ones y'all don't want in y'all country. We're going to keep piling it up here so we can destroy the ones in your country that's coming over to here. And we're going to destroy ours. We're going to destroy yours. So you all are, what they're doing, they're getting rid of those in their country, and letting them come over in here. Okay? Because those are the people they want to destroy and make less population in the other countries, in other places. So they bring them over here. And then you got all the homeless out here, people who ain't got nowhere to go, nothing, nothing. But yet you bring in more people. It's because that's how this country has always run. Unjust, unrighteous, and evil. And that's how they're going to continue. So in Galatians, we're going to sum this message up. In Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16, and it reads, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." The lust of the flesh. Walk in the spirit, and thou shalt not fulfill the lust of the flesh. When you speak of polygamy, it is a man that has multi-wives, children by these wives, okay? And that's it. What happens? Either they work, they slave to make sure things are together for him, okay? And the children that he has by them, they become his sex tool whenever he desires, or to whichever one he wants. So his pleasure is being met. That's not meeting their pleasure, because they have to know that, wait a minute, he just went into her yesterday, now he coming into me. So he don't understand you're messing with the minds of the women. So if you're thinking it's peace in their mind, you sicker than sick. There's hate for you, because they have to deal with every time you want to enter into them that you didn't enter into this one, this one, this one, this one. So they thinking, well, I got to compete. See, if you're thinking that's not there, you're the sick one, because it's your pleasure you're fulfilling, not their need, the need of their minds, their spirit, their feelings, their emotions. A man that has many wives cannot fulfill those things of a woman. He can only fulfill his pleasure. And that pleasures can come sexual, which is the number one. The second one, the pleasure of power and control. None of that has to do with the Father. None of that is spiritual. But that's what's rest in the household. It's about the sex, the power of control. And that's the overall of the whole thing. Now, can that connect to spirit? No, it can't. It has no place. Even though he would or she would, they would place it under spiritual. Or we worship. No, you can't worship a high. When he's going into each one of those women, having each children by women, one has to try to compete with the other. And the men are so ignorant, they don't understand this is the spirits that Ahia say that comes in and abide and rest there until what? Why are the spirits coming in? If a man got 6 wives, why are the 6 spirits in each one of the women? Because they got to compete. They got to show this man their best side, so he can pay more attention to them than the others. See, he don't see all of that because it's about his pleasure. It's about his enjoyment and his power. That is not spirit, you guys. That's why polygamy don't belong in the spiritual realm. It belongs in the flesh realm. Now, here we go. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. We know you can't have 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives, 5 wives without lust being the foundation. Because you have to lust after each one of them to desire them to be in your presence as a wife. And that goes on and on and on throughout the time each one is there. They have to compete against that lust that is within you. They can't win it. They can't win it because at any time you can see somebody else you want. You're breeding another virgin to just come in already. They too ignorant to know it. You see? So that'll be another one they have to compete against. Women don't, and men don't think this thing is something that is acceptable to y'all. It is not his perfect will, nor is it his will that this lifestyle is performed. That's why he set destruction, his wrath and destruction to go in the midst of it all the time. And the seeds that he has, all you have to do is go back to there and see. What happened to David? What happened to Abraham? What happened to Jacob? See what happened to them and their wives and their children. See, you just can't just add that and make it a righteous will. You have to see the destruction and the chaos within that. Then you have to say, well, wait a minute, how is Ahia approving that? How is he endorsing that? He's not, man is, and then making it appear to that Ahia is endorsing it, and it's not, okay? Because he ain't gonna endorse destruction. He's not the author of confusion. You see what I'm saying? So how are you going to make him the author of David's family's confusion, Abraham's confusion, Jacob's confusion? Jacob's oldest son went in with one of his well, he might as well. Jacob went in to the same thing he did, but just in a different way. See, you don't understand. None of that is of Yah. And this is where you can hold on firm to. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall fulfill the lust of the, you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Verse 17, for the flesh lusts against the spirit. The flesh lusts against the spirit. So the things of polygamy is only for the flesh. It is always against the spirit. It always and always will be against the spirit. So listen to this. Verse 17, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit. Now, look at the spirit on that, you guys. Look at your Bible and see. You see that spirit? That's a higher. That's a higher. He's letting you know the things of the flesh will always go up against me. So you can say what you want, think what you want, feel what you want. You can lie to all these men, lie to all these women. All that polygamy mess goes up against who I am and who I stand for. So I will not come to abide in you, knowing that your flesh lifestyle is going up against my spirit. You see? So when they run around and said that they got the Holy Spirit, they got the Ruach HaKodesh, and they have the Holy Spirit, they's a lie from the pit of hell, not living that type of lifestyle, because their fleshly ways goes up against. It's a battle against the spirit. Always. And a higher is not going to authorize confusion to go up against him. And he already know, Proverbs 16 and verse 2, that he's going to measure the spirits that's in a man. Because he knows, and he said the spirits with an S. He knows Satan going to always come up in that polygamy lifestyle. He knows it. Like he did with your other, the ones they trying to mimic. See, they tried to mimic the ways that brings them lust and pleasures and power. They didn't think that, wait a minute, how are you trying to mimic David and you ain't the seed? David strictly represent a higher, even though his sins were of polygamy and many other things, but yet he still was the seed. The seed of what? That was already branded righteousness. But a higher caused everything in his household and everything in his life to be a chaos. That man been killing and bloodshedding all his whole life. Even in his household, there was bloodshed. Him on a battlefield all his life. That's not a life to live. You see what I'm saying? But because the things that he did that was against a higher, there was a price to pay. So these men thinking that polygamy has been okay for them to get their lust on and their power on, and they don't understand the last thing you want power over is another woman's spirit. Because you can get the power of the flesh, but you ain't gonna be able to get to tame the power of their spirit, because it can detach other spirits to it, and they'll whoop your tail down. They'll kill your tail. That's what the men don't understand. So if you think life is about gaining power and lust, getting your lust on and your control, and someone has to be with you because you got a roof over their head and food to eat and clothes on, or how you say, don't worry about what to eat and what to wear. I got that. Just seek me first. You see, the silly women don't seek a higher. They seek man to get the things that's pleasing to them from man, and they orchestrate people to believe that it's the way they say it is, and it is not. So here I am in Galatians chapter 5 verse 17. For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit it against the flesh. So the spirit of a higher is totally against your flesh. It can't even worship Father. So do you understand what I'm saying, you all in the live chat? Do you understand when I say that polygamy is not something that pleases Yah? Yah is spirit, polygamy is flesh. So it has no unity with Yah. And they say it's not in there. It's a lot of things in there, but it's only given to the eyes that can see the light. It's only given to those who know spirit and truth. It's only given to those who have rightly divided the word of truth. It is only given to those who understand what Yeshua was saying, every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah and not out of the mouth of man. Okay? So in verse, and what hurt me in verse 17, Galatians chapter 5, verse 17, for he laid down, he said, for the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. That's what polygamy is, you guys. It's a thing in the pleasure of the flesh of men. It's not even the pleasure of the flesh of woman, because woman is constantly battling and trying to compete and trying to look different or better or be different. And here come a nappy-headed man that had his head busted more than once, trying to tell you how you should get along as his slave, his slave tools, his sex, his lust tools. He's trying to tell you how to get along in the spirit realm of demonic spirits. You can't train that. See, that's the thing about it. A lot of them don't understand the door of spirits are open when you entertain in lifestyles like this. Oh, it's open. And Ahia said he saved the raft of the whole idea of what you're doing for the destruction. The raft that will lead to destruction. So don't think that you're going to outbeat David, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's lifestyle in this lifestyle. And if you ever sat down and taught people the right way, you will see it is not a lifestyle nobody would want to go in. And a lot of times they get people to agree with it and to step out into the deep. And after they see that they got others to do it, then that's when they step in and do it as well. And when a person knows that they got to, like, remember that guy I was telling you that trained dogs? Okay, that's how you got men leading this Hebrew Israelite movement. They have learned techniques because they know the weakness of man, because they are a man. They know what to look for and how to get into their feelings and their emotions and their opinions about things. And once they're able to master it, they can win them over, even from their ex-wives and their children. They're good at it. They know exactly what to say and what the men want to hear and how they want to feel. And they tell them you can be leaders and kings and rulers. You're supposed to lead your household. See what the book said. Baby, who wants to lead a bunch of spirit? Who wants to lead that? If you can't lead where there's one and you have children, what makes you think you're going to lead 2 wives, 3 wives and children? Or how you say you're going to get what you ask for, especially if you're not the seed that has been branded with righteousness, faith, belief, and fear. That brand of Ahia in you that causes you to be able to suffer the things of the world and in the world and the actions of your iniquity, but yet be sealed for eternal. These men today, they are nowhere near sealed in nothing they do. Why? Because they're in captivity. They have not recognized the end game of their captivity, that they're going to be destroyed. They have not saluted the curse itself. Ahia has waited the 400 years. Now we passed 400 years for the tribe of Judah to salute the curse itself, and they refuse. That's why they can easily blame everything that's going on the heathens and Gentiles, not seeing that this is the mighty right hand of the Father. So anybody in the live chat, I'm going to end there. That spirit of Yah is within you. I'm going to end there. Anybody have any questions? You can ask any questions, or if you have any answers. Praise the Most High, Ahaya. Thank you. Praise the Most High, Ahaya, Ahaya. Because, really, honestly, just think of the women that are caught up in that and can't see any way out. You know why they won't see any way out? Because Ahaya said, I haven't given them the eyes to see, because they chose man over him. And when you choose man over Ahaya, then Ahaya let you go. He'll let you ride right in there. If he told the servants to leave the tare with the wheat, do y'all get it? If he told told the servants, leave the tare with the wheat, let them grow up together. What was he saying? I know they there. So what? Let them grow together. I already know who's who and what's what. I do the separation. You see? Because what did they want to do? They wanted to cut the tare out, tie them up, and burn them. But Ahai said, no, I got a day and an hour on that. Not a day, but I got an hour and some minutes on this. I got a plan for that. So a lot of people thinking that they can serve man over Yah, and they have went that way and can't see that they chose an idol god, which is a man. See, back in the days, they made idols, or they served other kings as idols, or they served something else as idols. But today they serve man. That's what they serve. They serve these churches, these communities, camps, these groups, and all these so-called positions. They serve that instead of serving Yah. And they think they got it going on. They think they got it going on. And it's nothing in them that want to do righteous. So they can't see it. They can't feel it. They can't desire it, because the strong delusion is so heavy that they can't see nothing right. They can see wrong being right, and that's about it. It's a lot of them caught up in it. And just imagine, you got one breath of life in this body, and you think he sent you down to have that one breath that he gave to you, not to your husband. He gave it to you. And he gave you that spirit, his image, and gave you an image like his, a spirit, for some man to control it. Come on, you guys. But yet you're going to be judged for it? Does that make any sense? A man is to control it, but you're going to be judged for it. Y'all, come on. See, that's what I said. They don't understand. They worship that proceed out of the mouth of man, not that which proceed out of the mouth of Yah. And Ahaya allowed them to. Yeah, they ain't got no time for Ahaya. They ain't thinking about it. Definitely spirit and truth. And see, this is something that can't be debated. See, they would want to debate it and this and this. No. Because I don't care what verse they pull up. And this is what I've been telling y'all for a long time. They cannot debate spirit and truth. They can't debate it. They can debate all this other crap. They can go in the scriptures and pull out here, and there, or I can prove it through the Bible. No, you can't. Because when spirit and truth come, everything you trying to debate got to bow down. Because it don't have no room to buckle up or buckle down. So it has to all the way bow down to what is spirit and truth. Yeah, and don't let nobody tell you that. Don't ever get into that lifestyle. Now, with me, I'm like this here. Treat your husband as a leader. Let him have overseer the first word. No, he don't have to have the first word, but let him have the last. Okay? Let him make the choices, because in making choices, each time he fall, a higher will pick him up. But what we do as women, we pick them up. When they fall, come on, baby, I helped you up. Each time they fall, we run picking them up. So they don't learn to trust in a higher to pick them up. Because sometimes a higher let them fall and sit there and watch. Watch their every move to see if they're going to get up the right way. But we as women, we intervene, because every time they fall, we there to pick them up. I'm known for that, even with my ex-husband and my children. Known for that. Even to now. Even to now. My ex-husband had a doctor appointment. I did too, but we both went in, and who you think went and got his prescription, pulled up all his information so I can get it on, put it in his file of all the tests that he had, and so on. Me. Why? Because that's who I am. I'm a servant, but I'm a servant of the Most High, a higher. You see? And when you serve the Most High, you serve any and everyone else, because you already know who to serve and how to serve him. And he teaches you how to be a servant, to be a give and gave individual. And that's who he is. That's who he was, and that's who he's going to always be. So, and yes, it's almost like a wear and tear. But then when I keep looking at my life, I realize that everything I do has to connect to serving. So just imagine if I had to get in a marriage and have to have a man ruling over me as a prophetess in the wilderness. Yes, he would have the last say so of the things within the household, okay, or within or outside the household, but he's not going to overstep the boundary of my calling. He has to stand down. You see, my calling should never buckle up to his purpose as a man, as a leader. You see, once you understand your calling and your purpose, it has to still line up with allowing him to be the leader. And what has happened, I'm going to tell y'all the truth of the matter. A lot of these men didn't have men in the house, and they still blaming woman, just as they did in the Garden of Eden. Adam never repented. He blamed woman. You see, Cain never repented from killing his brother. No sorrow or nothing. He no blame, no shame, no nothing. That's how the Bible is made up, where you see no man coming to repentance. Look at all that David was doing. Lusting after a man's wife, waiting to him to get into her, having the man killed, didn't see nothing wrong with nothing he was doing until he had to come before the Most High, and he had to come humbled and hurt and suffering for his sin. But I'm just showing you how hard it is for men today to find themselves bowing down to the Most High with their face to the floor and really crying out to the Most High. They don't want that. They want to bow down before a man's emotions, his feelings, his teaching, his wisdom, his knowledge, and his understanding. They will bow down to a man before they will a higher. And then the blessing is off his family. And then he end up inheriting the blessings of the world and the blessings that man can show him and prove to him that he can have and he can get if he live the lifestyle in which he have set before him, a polygamy lifestyle. You see, a higher would never lead a man into a lifestyle like that. But the sin of a man leads him in that direction. Mm-hmm. If a higher okay it, then it's okay. It wouldn't have so much of all this destruction, okay, and wicked and evil going in it. And they jumping from bed to bed to bed to bed, just like Jacob did. Here, come take my woman friend that work for me. Have her. Here, take this one too. That is not of y'all. Come on now, y'all. Here, sir, take Hagar, lay with her. No. Yep, it's it's just it's sad. And I, Sister Deborah, would like to thank each and every last one of you all who have uh, donated to the GoFundMe. I want you to understand that I truly appreciate it. I really do. Uh, and what Sister Deborah was really trying to do is to do something that really is set up in spirit and truth. I'm a person that really believes that uh, anything I receive, it has to be released from the heaven. And if heaven don't release it, I can't receive it. So I felt that anything that is released, it is truly a blessing. And the higher has allowed it to be released unto me. And I seek him to pour out blessings for those who have been touched by him to donate. So I just want to let you know I appreciate it. And it's not something that I am looking to get rich or make money or nothing, nowhere near that. It's just the idea I wanted to put something there because there are so many scriptures saying that he that give unto a prophet receive a prophet reward. If you give just a drink of cold water, how you would be blessed. People don't understand Ahiah's anointed ones and Ahiah's elects. They are the righteous one. When thou give unto the righteous one, you give unto Ahiah. When thou give unto the wicked one, you give unto Satan. And that's what a lot of people don't know how to divide it. Sister Deborah I kind of felt sad because I was thinking, I said, Father, people really thinking that this is about a GoFundMe to really make money. Nowhere near that. I'm a woman, an individual that Ahiah has taught how to live her daily bread. Okay? And with him teaching me that, I didn't even know that can exist like that, but it can and it has. That means I will survive when many won't. You see? Because he taught me that for a reason. He put that in me to learn for a reason that I may understand what he means. Give me my daily bread. See, I'm not asking Ahiah for more than just my daily bread. So I can't ask no one on these platforms for more than what Ahiah is willing to give as a daily bread. You see? And it's not to where it has to be someone on uh, GoFundMe to give me that daily bread. I've already received it from Ahiah. You see what I'm saying? Because the blessing, the greatest food and to have is to have him in spirit and in truth. That's the greatest of all, y'all. That can't outweigh nothing to me. I'm speaking of me. Nothing outweigh that. I love him in a way that I know that love does not surround him in that way. I love him for the way that he have been a give and gave. I love him for what he stands for in the give and gave. When I say love, I admire the give and gave that he was, and he's going to be, because that's exactly who he is. He gave so much before there was. He gave all that he wanted to give before he created anything. That's why heaven and earth can pass away. But what he had already in his bosom, no man can take from him. So I, Sister Deborah, say, I hope that each and every last one of you all got something out of the message. And now you have something that you can hold on to regarding this polygamy, where you know it is not the righteous will of the Father. It is the unrighteous will, because it rests in pleasing and pleasuring the flesh of man. So I, Sister Deborah, say, okay, to remind you, that's right. I say to you all, I will be back, and I hope that you will take heed that we should all seek ye the kingdom. We should have already done just that. Uh, he said something to me that was so important. He said, why would people think that everything's going to be the way they are preaching and teaching? And I've already told the angels, hey, tell them, go down there and tell them, don't touch this, don't touch that till they mark mine. So you can't interfere with what a higher has already marked. You see? I said, okay, wait a minute, hold up, Father, y'all, hold up. They're already in the Lamb Book of Life. So why do they need to be marked? Because I don't want nothing on the earth to interfere with them. And when they see the mark on their forehead, they're going to pass them by. Praise the mighty Yah. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, shalom and shalom.